And then, MMA lost a great one in Rumble Johnson a few days ago. Can you just talk to me about his legacy and what he left behind and how it might have impacted you and the sport?
I mean, how can you say it ain't Rumble and not know what we're talking about? I mean, if you're talking about anything Rumble, say Rumble, people think of Anthony Johnson. I even talking about fighting. Oh, like my belly rumbling. Anthony Johnson in your stomach? You know what I mean? Just ain't standing down because Rumble just left a huge impact, not just on the fight game, but on his opponents. And that impact was that right hand. When he hits you with it, it's over. You know what I mean? And just that impact he's going to leave in the fight game. Granted, Derek Lewis got the lead knockouts. I'm sure people know Rumble's knockouts more than you know Derek Lewis because he was just that influential. Not just in that, but the fact he's fought all the way down from 170 up to heavyweight in other organizations. You know, it's just as a sad one. We lost a true OG and a real one. And my condolences and prayers to his family and loved ones. And yeah, a sad one.
Do you have a favorite moment about him?
My favorite fight moment, I said earlier, is I want to say it was World Series of Fighting he was fighting in. It was for him and DJ Letterman. I remember Letterman poked him in the eye, and he was backing up like, yo, I poke. He you couldn't even see. His eyes closed, going like this, trying to make sure nobody touching him. You hear the ref say, I didn't see nothing. And he opened up one eye, and Letterman is running out in a full sprint. He literally just plants the gun. And you just see Letterman. One hit with his eyes closed and just melts this dude. And I was like, yo, that's some OG, cold, legit, like, you don't see that. Like, he couldn't see. He literally just put the brakes on, opened up one eye, and just let it go. And it was over.
I mean, Rumble is one of the scariest light heavyweights of all time. I guess one of the scariest MMA fighters of all time. Just a thunderous puncher. And I was just saying in another interview, I never knew him personally, but I know people who did. My coach Jordan Johnson knew him, and apparently he was a really solid guy, and he, treated people with respect. And it's obviously it's a tragedy that he's gone.
He was, man, overall, he was such a good person. You know what I mean? He had a very kind heart, and he was very soft-spoken and just easy and fun to be around. He was always like a good mentor and a good person just to like ask for advice, ask for like how you were doing in the fights and see what he thought. And when I first started getting involved in this sport, I was a wrestling coach with the Black Zillions. And I had never met somebody who came into practice so intense. I mean, just to be with guys that you would be hugging, laughing with. 2 seconds you put on the gloves and he's trying to knock your ass out. Like, and it's in a vicious way, but it's not malicious, you know what I mean? Like, he's doing it to make you better. He's trying to make you see your holes and give you a good workout too. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was the intensity he brought to every workout. Showed me something, and I was just there being a wrestling coach, and he was a big push and motivation to be like, hey, Tyrell, you should do this sport, like, you can be good, you have a lot of success. And so it's crazy just to hear, like, I don't know where somebody's life can be taken away, and end. So he's a great person overall and a fighter as well. So I was very sad to hear about his loss.
Do you aspire to be like him moving forward with your career?
Of course, I want to knock people out in a vicious way too. Who doesn't? This is the name of the game. Like, that's what I mean. Like, watching him at practice got me an attitude. Like, I practice with that same intensity. I'm shit talking. I'm in your ass at practice. You know what I mean? That's just the kind of guy I am. And I think watching him at the beginning was a big influence to be like, this is the kind of energy, kind of mindset you need to have at practice, because that's going to cross over to the game. The live shit. So it was good. No, I definitely aspire to be someone like him.
Я очень сожалею то, что Энтони Джонсон умер, то, что он так долго болел, поднимаем духом, Царство Небесное. А как спортсмене, как легенде, я могу сказать, что он выходил, показывал очень красивые бои, крутые нокауты. Так что я смотрел много его боев, еще когда был самым начинающим спортсменом, и когда мне предоставилась возможность драться с ним, я был очень рад такому событию, потому что хотелось проверить себя с таким сильным соперником.
Of course, much like everybody else in the MMA community, I'm very saddened by the fact that he passed away, and especially that he's been ill for quite some time now, battling this thing. He's somebody I've watched for a long time. He's always, brought A game. He was always exciting. He was always looking for knockouts. He had plenty of knockouts. You know, had all the power. He was always very exciting. Always in great shape. Always, you know, in the top of the whatever division he was in at the time. So when I had the opportunity to fight him, I was actually pretty excited to test my skills against somebody with his experience and a high level. Fortunately, it didn't happen, but you know, he's definitely left his mark.
I watching Humble for many fights. I love his style because he's very dangerous. He was very dangerous, explosive like me, dangerous like me, and I believe humble like me. So just read, rest in peace. He was a good fighter. He need to. Ele merece. He deserve to ser lembrado. Ele merece ser lembrado. He should be honored.
I mean, it's very unfortunate. I only got to meet Anthony once, and it was actually at like a bare knuckle fight. I just shook his hand. You know, told him I'm a big fan. So I didn't really know him on a personal level, but how he's influenced the sport was drastic. You know, a guy like him was devastating. Anytime he stepped in the ring, he knew what he, you know, presented as a threat. And I mean, it's just sad. Beyond the MMA world, it's just sad because, and very unfortunate. You know, he's 38 years old. You know, his family's there. I get it. You know, as fans, you want to, you know, you want to see him perform and stuff. But there's so much beyond us as athletes, you know, that people really don't get to see. You get to see me, what, for 15 minutes in a ring if we make it that far. You get your whole life, you get your kids, your parents, your cousins, uncles, whatever. And it's just very unfortunate, you know, that they, more than anything, that they suffer the biggest loss to them. So, yeah. It's,
Да, смотрел, но таким, но он был панчером сильным. Таким сильным, таким фанатом его не был, но что сказать. Ушла легенда, да, этого спорта. Он много чего сделал для этого спорта, оставил очень много ярких моментов в памяти каждом.
He was a puncher. I remember watching him as a kid. He's a legend, gone way too soon. He left a lot of highlights behind that generations to come will watch and enjoy. Great fighter. I feel bad for his family, and he was, I think, battling some sicknesses. I wish them all peace.